Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. In this video I have a technique that I'm going to be teaching all of you in regards to a situation that is unfolding upon the planet right now that many people are detecting. There's quite a lot of videos that are discussing and showing this particular type of unsettling phenomena. And it's what we would often think of as being fog. Right? And this is not fog, in the best way I can put it. So a lot of people think that there's all this foggy weather, there's all this foggy phenomena that's happening across many cities around the United States and certain areas of Canada. It's not in my neck of the woods, but it may also be in other areas of the world as well too. And when there's video footage of it, it's kind of like we're seeing these particles. People start zooming in and they start seeing these particles contained inside this fog, just millions and millions of particles. A fog doesn't do that. Okay, so this is not fog. Okay, this is an aerosol. And more importantly, it is a chemical aerosol. Okay, so I'll refer to it as a chemical aerosol. The closest analogy I can give is almost, not exactly, but almost like having a chemtrail contained within a lower pressure zone of a city. It's like being inside a type of chemtrail. And basically when people go into this fog, they have kind of like a bad smell. It's like a smell of burnt rubber. Okay? This is not something you want to be near. Okay, this is a chemical aerosol, not a fog. It looks like fog, but it's not fog, and it's quite toxic, right? I've heard from people who have gone into this fog, who have had all kinds of horrible side effects in going into it. They have respiratory problems, they're coughing, their face starts to swell up, right? You're basically going inside a chemical aerosol. Don't do that, okay? So this is, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you could say this is almost like a type of bioweapon, okay? And this is exactly what Adronis has talked about in one of our previous webcasts, where he was saying that starting in 2025, they're going to be letting all of the weapons out. And they're going to try and affect people with these weapons. They're going to try and go all out, but he also said all of these plans are going to fail. But here's something we're just going to do in the meantime, is we're going to heal ourselves from that fog. We're going to learn how to clear it out completely, okay? Again, we call it a fog, but like I said, it's much more of an aerosol. I'll call it in this instance a chemical fog, okay? So we're going to learn today about how to clear out this aerosol, this chemical fog. So it is no longer affecting you, it is no longer affecting your family, it is no longer affecting the people around you. And through this video, I'm granting you all permission to connect with your inner divine self, basically receiving this particular type of technique and getting great success from it. Okay? So, we basically are going to break this down in two ways. The first way, number one, is we're going to use this for personal use. Okay? Number two is we're going to use this for collective use. Okay? Personal and collective use. So I'm going to teach you firstly about the personal way of utilizing this, which means if you see that chemical fog, if you notice it's unusual weather, and sometimes we may actually do this over natural fog, and that's okay too, right? But if we're noticing that something's unusual, that there's been a lot of reports, and maybe we can see it from the distance pertaining to that particular chemical fog, then this is when this technique is going to come in. And this technique is really no more different than the white light breath technique, okay? But it's working more towards the environment, okay? So if we have the fog here, and what we're doing is we're just bringing in white light. That's all we're doing. I'm not talking about your typical new agey, kind of white light here. I'm talking about white light that represents the cure, okay? That you're curing this condition. This is exactly like what I've taught people with working with the white light breath technique, and they focus on a particular area, they do it a few times, and before they know it, their body is feeling perfectly better, okay? We're just doing the same thing, but we're doing it environmentally. So again, if you're seeing that fog in the distance, all you're doing is just getting yourself settled, right? We want to do some breath work. We want to do some Rachaka Pranayama, okay? Breathing in for 4 seconds, breathing out for 8. Repeat, 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 repeat. You know you're in a calm state when you have 2 particular qualities. Number 1, your eyes are dilated. Number 2, you have a great amount of saliva in your mouth. The secretion of saliva increases. That's how you tell that you're in a neutral, calm, relaxed state. And you want to be when you're doing this work. Okay? So, when we see that fog in the distance, and maybe we've gotten some reports, we've heard some people, don't go into that fog, it's terrible, it's making me sick, it's making me ill, okay? Then we know that's the fog we can work with. We can also work with this fog at a distance as well too, if we see live video of this fog, and we can also clear it out, okay? So what you're doing is when you're in that calm state, I want you to look at that fog, and either using your left hand or your right, either one, I want you just to feel like you're bringing down white light and you're just moving your hand in a clockwise direction, okay? So it's like one hand is feeling that light coming down and holding it there, and the right hand is basically creating an imbuement of that white light coming into the fog, okay? Now, if you don't want to use these gestures, you don't have to, but try to create a mental projection of that, right? This is especially good for people who are not so visual, is you're doing gestures, okay? You're bringing the white light in upon the fog, and you're blending it into the fog, okay? So we just keep blending and blending and blending until we get that kind of intuitive sensation of when to stop, okay? That can be a little muscle jolt. That could be a magnetic sensation. That can just be a thought, okay, this is good. I've done enough. We can stop. But that's not the whole thing that we're doing here, okay? We're bringing in the white light, and when we're seeing the white light, you are seeing that as your curing light. That light cures all when it blends together with the problem, okay? Like I said, this is what we're doing within ourselves. We're breathing in the white light, we're holding it, and then when we exhale, we're breathing out that black smoke, and we're sending it back into the ether. Okay, well, that'll be part 2. Part 1 right now is we're blending in that white light. So whether I'm doing it with the left hand or right hand, doesn't matter, okay? I'm just feeling the white light coming in. Maybe my eyes are closed. Have them open, have them closed, whatever you feel. What matters is you're concentrating, okay? You're seeing that white light. So that white light can come in as rays. That white light can come in as a burst of light, coming right into the center of the fog. And it's growing bigger and bigger because you're blending it into the fog, okay? And we just do it enough until we feel that intuitive impression to say, okay, we've done part 1, okay? Part 1 is done, okay? Now that we have completed part 1 with the white light, we're now going to absorb the vibrational frequency of that chemical fog and put it back into the ether, okay? So what you're doing is it's like you're seeing an ellipse around either hand, your left hand or your right hand. It's an ellipse that brings it back into the ether. So it's like a little portal, a little ellipse portal here that is either in your left hand or your right hand. And when you're doing that, you're moving your hand in the opposite direction. So I was moving it clockwise, okay? So like I said, the best way to see this, because people get confused by this, say, well, imagine there's a big clock right in front of you, right? Those old-fashioned school clocks where you have the first hand and the second hand, okay? So you're moving it against that clock. The clock's right here, and my hand is acting as the hand of the clock, okay? So I'm moving it clockwise. Now I'm doing it completely opposite. And it's like I'm absorbing all of that vibrational frequency out of the clouds and absorbing it into this ellipse, okay? So there is an ellipse geometry right in front of your hand. And I want you just to see it. And it leads to the ether, okay, which is basically nothing. We don't have a form with it. All we're really seeing is just the outline of an ellipse, and it's going back into the ether. So I'm summoning that chemical fog vibrationally, not the physical cloud, of course. Don't think you can do that, but just the vibrational frequency of all of it, and it's being absorbed back into the ellipse. And then again, you'll get the feeling, you'll get the sensation when that is completed. Okay, so you're just absorbing it into the ellipse again and again and again. It feels like it ends, and then just close your hand. Okay, so you close your hand. When you're done, the ellipse vanishes. That's it. You've done it. Okay, so we're blending the white light, the curing white light, into the chemical fog. It is neutralizing everything. It completely breaks down all harmful chemicals, toxins, viruses, whatever may be inside that nasty thing. And it's being broken down completely. And we break it down. Now we're just taking the husk of it, vibrationally speaking. We're drawing out that ellipse, and this is what I would suggest you do, is you draw out the ellipse, just like that. And it's like you see an outline here, okay? If you can't see it, just know that it's there, just by what you're drawing out. You can either draw it this way, or you can draw it this way, okay? Either way is fine. And once you have that ellipse, counterclockwise, okay? And you're just feeling like all of that vibrational frequency from the chemical fog is just being absorbed right into the ellipse. It's not going into your hand. It's not going into your body. It's going into the ellipse. It's going back into the ether, okay? And we just keep doing that, and we just feel like the tail end of it goes through. Close your hand. Close your hand. Clear out the ellipse, and you're done. Which means over the next little while, you will see that chemical fog vanish. It will be, the chemical aerosol will completely vanish entirely from the scene, okay? So that's what we're doing personally. If we find it within our range, if we see it with us, okay, we're using this technique. And like I said, I have given you complete and total permission to go within yourself and clear that out. And I'm just doing that as an ambassador, a vessel of spirit, okay? But you're going in and you're clearing out that fog. So that's what we're doing on a personal level, okay? So that's part one. Now we go into part two, and we go into a collective level. And that's what we're going to do right now together, okay? Which means we're going to be able to zoom out from the earth and just get impressions about where this chemical fog is upon certain areas of the lands that are all over the earth. Now, like I said, this could be advanced. Some people may not be able to do this, but that's okay. Some of you can. And like I said, all we're doing is we're going to be looking at certain areas of the earth to find out exactly where this fog is. And we're going to be gathering that fog together vibrationally, putting the white light into it, and then absorbing it back into the ether. So what we're doing is we're detoxifying it, and then we're releasing it into the ether. Okay? So if you're ready to do this with me, stay with me in this video, because this is our next step. Okay? So please make sure, again, you're doing your breath work. You're 4 seconds in through the nose, 8 seconds out through the nose. In fact, let's do that together now. Let's do a few rounds of that first, and then we're going to get into the practice itself. So keep your spine nice and straight. If you're sitting, you can stand up, you can lay down, whichever you prefer, okay? But we're going to be working with the breath here, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Try to keep your spine erect if you are sitting, okay? So here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, last one, and in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and relax. Okay. If you can, check your eyes. Are they dilated? Be aware of your mouth. Is there a lot of saliva in there? If there is, you have reached the neutral state. Okay, and that's exactly what we're looking for here. It's exactly what we want to align ourselves to work on the collective approach to clearing out the chemical fog. Okay, so while you're in that state now, just go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you just to feel like you're leaving your body. You're going further up past your home, further up past your neighborhood, your town, your city, your state or province, your country, and you're just zooming all the way out until you can see the entire earth. Okay, I just want you to visualize, and if you can't visualize too well, just tell yourself that this is happening. Okay? And now we're just looking at the earth as she's spinning around. We're zooming in, and we're going to probably look maybe at the Western world first. We'll probably look around North America, South America. We'll look around maybe the UK, right? And just getting these little kind of like resins, these little, I should say maybe bumps or feeling of static that is in these particular areas. And you can zoom in more as well too. And it's kind of like you're looking at red static. I think that's the best way to describe it. Looking at red static as you continue to zoom into some of these places. And that red static would be the area that contains this chemical fog. Okay, so you're zooming in more and more and more, right? And I just want you to choose a place that you feel you want to work on. So we will all have our own different places. Okay, you're zooming in and you see that kind of red static. And as you zoom in more, that red static now becomes that chemical fog. Okay, so now that you see it and you're looking at it from a bird's eye view here, quite literally, we're now going to go ahead and start clearing out that chemical fog within that area. Okay, so once again, you're bringing about an invocation of the curing white light. Okay, so when you look at that white light, again, it's like the light of God. It's the light of source intelligence. Okay, and you're seeing it that way. You're seeing it with that great intelligence in it, knowing that it is capable of curing everything and anything. And you have the power within yourself. And all I'm doing is helping you to bring that out of yourself because you have the full permission to use this. Okay? And then you're putting that white light upon that area. So again, one of two ways. Number one, see it as rays of white light coming down upon the fog. Or number two, see the center of that chemical fog and seeing this bursting white light overtaking it. Okay, that bursting white light is overtaking the chemical fog. Okay, and like I said, you're just holding it in place there. You may be summoning the white rays down, or you're creating that burst. Okay, and then we start moving in the clockwise direction just as before. We're clearing out that entire city. We're clearing out that entire region that you're focused on right now, and we're just blending the white light in with that chemical fog. Okay, just keep blending until you're getting the intuitive impression that you are done. Okay, it's a jolt, it's a sensation, it's a thought, it's a feeling, it's a magnetic pole, whatever it may be. You'll get that jolt, that feeling. Okay, so you're blending in that white light to the chemical fog. Very good. Now we move on to step 2. You draw your ellipse. Okay, either on your left or your right hand. Either hand doesn't matter. We don't have a hand approach here of what hand you should be using for which. Okay, so just draw out the elliptical. Okay, and now you're bringing your intention towards the fog, the chemical fog that now has all this white light mixed into it. Okay, and then we're just moving counterclockwise, just like you see those old-fashioned clocks right in front of you. You're just moving counterclockwise. Okay, and you're seeing the vibrational frequency energy of that chemical fog. Its physical husk remains, but all of that energy of that chemical fog is being purged directly into the ellipse. Okay? And just bring it in, just like you see this trail. You see this trail of filth. You see this trail of vibrational energy that is coming from the husk of that dead chemical fog now. And counterclockwise, you are bringing it in through the ellipse, putting it back into the ether. Just sucking it all back in again. It's like you're in your God mode right now, right? And you're just absorbing all of that into the ellipse. It's not going into your body. It's going right through the ellipse, right into the ether. And then you'll get that intuitive impression when you're done. Okay, then close. Okay, so whatever hand is holding the ellipse, close. Okay, then take another deep breath in, deep breath out. Admit to yourself that your work is done. Okay, so once you're finished with that, both when you're doing your personal and your collective work, admit to yourself this work is done. The work is done, the work is finished. Okay? With that deep breath, come back into your body, come back into that physical realm again. Come back into your physical self and just give a moment. Give your love and blessings to the earth, give your love and blessings to your fellow people, to the animals, to nature, to everything. You have done a great service here because you have this ability now that is within you, within all of you. It does not matter your background because we're all from the source. All right? And come on back. Great job. This is how we heal disasters on the planet. And we're working together through our higher self, through the spiritual self. We're moving ourselves up higher to the degrees to where we can look at all these things from a bird's eye perspective and we can clear them. Even if we're working on something personal, we're still going into that higher vibrational domain of ourselves and we're clearing it out. Okay? So I want you to review this video. I'd like you to share this video with anyone you know, share it to your lists and so forth. Tell people about this. Let's all do it together. Realize the power that is within yourself. Even if you don't quite understand what's going on, your intention makes it real. The source within you makes it real. Pass it on. Thank you so much for watching. Continue to do this work. Continue to work together with this technique. Continue to pass on this technique and watch the difference that comes together. Blessings to you all. Take care. Namaskar. And may it be well with you. Please be safe. Bye for now.